A good Friday morning, Quad Cities. I was multitasking and typing here. Welcome into our severe weather discussion here.
Yes.
Not for today, but actually next Monday. We're trying to get you ready for some potential severe weather. In fact, it looks like it's more likely now than ever as we're getting closer and closer to this event.
The trend has stayed. Sometimes when you see these SPC things, we saw earlier this year, it did get withdrawn a little bit, but this threat has just continued to increase and shift towards the Quad Cities here over the last couple of days.
Yeah, we've seen some changes and some new data. So what we're going to do is we're going to share those things with you. We're also going to give you an opportunity to ask some questions regarding our severe weather potential coming in for Monday. So good Friday morning. Welcome in. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
I'm weather anchor Peter Warner.
Yeah, and we're going to chat, of course, about that severe weather. If this is your first time joining us on one of these severe storm discussions, welcome. This is all part of the bonus content that we offer on our A+ app, our streaming app. And if you have a smart TV, especially one that's an Amazon, a Roku,
or
an Apple TV, you can download that app and you get all of this bonus content for free. So we're just trying to get you prepared for what's coming in on Monday. Remember what we say, prepared, not scared. The more information you have, the more empowered you'll be to use that. So we'll go through the threats, we'll go through our weather impact alert, we'll dive into some of that dynamics, what we're going to learn this weekend, what we already know right now, and then of course we'll answer your questions. So welcome. How do you get the question to us? Well, the best way is at the bottom of your screen there. You can text the question to that phone number, 309-304-0888. Easy to remember because of all the 8s at the end.
That is what we do here.
That's right. This is Channel 8, so easy to remember that. So we'll dive in and we'll start with, of course, our weather impact alert, what you need to know about that, the timing, some of the impacts. We first issued this weather impact alert on Monday, so we gave you a nearly week in advance to get ready for this thing. And this has been a very consistent storm system throughout in terms of the area that the Storm Prediction Center has been monitoring since day one, Peter. I've not seen much change on this at all. So that's what's led to this kind of high confidence, if you will, that we are indeed going to be seeing some severe weather as we go into Monday. So our weather impact alert, two things have changed with this. One, we've changed the timing. We've gone ahead and we have gotten rid of our timing for Tuesday. So that's all done. We've taken the red box off of Tuesday. Now we're focusing primarily on Monday night, Monday evening into Monday night. So right now, you know, if you had to put a time on this, you're likely looking after the 7 o'clock hour in the evening. So unfortunately, this is going to be another event where it's going to be dark, more than likely, as these storms are sweeping through, which means if we do have a tornado threat like what we saw last Sunday on Easter, it's going to be another difficult evening where we're not going to be able to really see these very easily. And that's probably my main worry right now, is if this does come in sweeping in late at night, we almost have a similar situation as to last weekend.
Yeah, last weekend we saw a significant, almost mini outbreak we were talking about. How many total was it? 14?
The total is now up to 14 tornadoes from Easter Sunday. Thankfully, they were all weak.
All week, which is great.
Nothing stronger than EF1, but still a tornado was a tornado, and it caused some damage.
It did.
And thankfully, nobody was injured and no one lost their life. But I will say this system coming in here for Monday, definitely some stronger dynamics.
Yes, much better dynamics.
Yeah, a lot better wind shear. We have a lot more storm. Wait until you see the storm energy with this thing coming in.
Kind of crazy.
It'll be likely one of the highest levels of storm energy that we have seen so far this year and this season.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the highest even. If you see, I know we kind of had that range of mild almost to explosive. We're practically at that explosive color max.
So right at the top of the scale at times. So we'll show you that here too. So again, the new development this morning was focusing on the timing now for Monday evening into Monday night. We're no longer worried about Tuesday. We believe Tuesday will be south and east outside of our region. So the other new development this morning was from the Storm Prediction Center. We got you the new timing, but this is also new. The 3 out of 5 on the threat track scale, it moved further into Illinois. So now nearly every one of our hometowns, with the exception of Princeton there in Bureau County, is in that threat track 3 out of 5. And that's pretty significant, especially when you're talking about this now 4 days in advance that we have that 3 out of 5 threat track. And it's so big. if you zoom this
expansive.
out, yeah, I mean, you probably were talking about this, I'm sure, this morning in Des Moines.
Yes.
It nearly covers the whole state of Iowa now.
It's pretty much the whole state of Iowa, except for that furthest northwest point. But that's still at a level 2 out of 5. And for the last couple of days, we've seen this. I guess this 3 came out yesterday, correct? Or is it 2 days ago even?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. The 3 came out yesterday, and we saw a very similar situation where it's almost the whole state of Iowa carrying into the Iowa, Illinois, Mississippi River Valley.
Yeah, so it's a very, very consistent trend that this thing is strengthening, and also that the Storm Prediction Center has high confidence that something is definitely going to be brewing with this. Now, I've had a lot of folks ask already, are we going to see this jump to a level 4 or a level 5? It's possible that a small chunk of this region could potentially jump to a 4. My early guess is it's probably not going to be here in the Quad Cities, but likely in western Iowa, probably western central Iowa. That's where I think you get a little bit more of that storm energy. You get some of those better spin dynamics where you're going to have those, what we call discrete supercells, where they're on their own.
Yes, and I think the timing there is kind of more favorable to that as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of definitely something to keep an eye on. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe some hatched areas too. That's something that could come out of this.
That's absolutely going to come out. I agree with that. And you'll probably see what we call a hatched tornado zone out of that. And by hatched, what we mean is that's where we think the best coverage is going to be, the most widespread coverage. So, that's what we're talking about right now, is we believe that the highest of higher threats is probably going to be where the storms initiate, which would be on the western flank of this. But what will likely happen is you're going to see probably a more narrow corridor of tornado threat. And then my first impression, based on what I've seen the last couple of days, is you're probably going to see the wind threat corridor expand into the Quad Cities. I wouldn't be surprised if the wind threat was hatched.
Yes.
For us into the Quad
Or the
Cities.
straight line wind situation. So you're looking at the shear too. If you notice it, once you reach more of that 10 o'clock time frame,
Yes.
the upper levels and the lower levels kind of start to straighten out and agree with each other a little bit more than say the earlier time frame from 5 to 7 that I was showing you.
Yeah, and that's going to be another kind of important ingredient that we're really going to have to watch as this all comes together. So we're going to dig into some of those ingredients. First, I'm going to go through a timeline to show you, what we know now, how this has all worked out so far, and the timeline of when we're going to get that really detailed information. Because I know it's a weekend ahead of us, and I want you to enjoy your weekend. I don't want you to be worrying about this all weekend long. But what I do want you to do is occasionally check in with us over the weekend, because Sunday is kind of the biggest day, other than the day itself on Monday, where we're really going to learn the finer details. So on Monday, we gave you the initial heads up. We issued our weather impact alert. Today, we just keep watching. The timing has become more clear. And this morning was an example, and last night with James, we shortened the timing. We said Monday evening, Monday overnight. So on Sunday, what we're going to see are what Peter was talking about there, those zones, the tornado zone, the wind zone, the hail zone. Where is it going to be what we just called hatched, or where is that more significant zone of wind, hail, and tornado threat going to be? We get that first thing Sunday morning, bright and early. So you'll want to tune in to GMQC Sunday. Allison Mills is going to be in.
Yes.
But as a team, we're going to be communicating all weekend long to make sure that we're getting the right information out there to you. And also by Sunday, that's when we have really high confidence in the forecast. It's the day before, so we've got the timing down, we've got the threats down, and then on Monday, we're ready to go.
Ready to go. Yeah. And I'll be here Sunday night as well, too, to help cover it.
That's right. I'm glad you reminded me that. Yes. So Peter graciously is offered to come in to do the forecast on Sunday evening. Normally we have our substitutes from our sister station in Buffalo. But Peter, because this is such a higher threat, as nice of a guy as he is, has offered to come in for Sunday evening. So we appreciate that, because, again, we want to make sure that we're getting you prepared for what comes in on Monday. So yes, make sure we're getting to Allison in the morning on Sunday, and then tuning in for Peter on Sunday evening, because Peter's going to have another updated run of Future Track compared to what Allison will have in the morning with that first look. So Sunday's going to be the day to tune in, and don't forget, it's not just on air. You can also get that on the A+ app.
Yes, we'll be here on the A+ app. Maybe I'll do a stream or something. You might look at
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. I was like, you know what? I was trying to think of what I had on Sunday, but I might try and pair up with you somehow, maybe remotely, and we can do some kind of a
Zoom chat.
A Zoom something, and we can stream that. So we'll put something together for sure this weekend to keep you updated. But yeah, Monday will be the day Of course, we've got lots of streaming planned on Monday. There will be one of these severe weather discussions for sure, no doubt about it, on 9 o'clock. James will likely have one too in the afternoon, and then we'll see what timing happens for the evening, and our live coverage will begin as soon as those storms begin to work in and threaten our region. So there's the timeline of everything. Again, kind of keep that in your head as we go through this weekend.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And again, we still have some time.
Time.
We're warning you and helping you keep prepared, but we will work out the details for you. There's no reason to kind of stress about the exact time frame, like when is it going to be seeing my town. That's still to be determined.
To be determined.
That's all going to be happening on your Sunday morning to Monday morning.
Right.
But right now, it's just, hey, be aware this is happening on your Monday evening. That's kind of what we're keeping an eye on.
Exactly, yeah. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Let's talk about some of the dynamics and why we're so confident this far out that we're going to have severe weather with this. And I forgot to change the name of my banner, so pardon that there. It's been a long week. So what we're looking at and what really grabs our attention are two things. One, we have a very significant dip in the jet stream that's coming onshore later this weekend, and that's already going to be moving eastward as the weekend progresses. And what's going to happen is it's going to run into all of this moisture, all of this instability as we get into later Sunday and especially into Monday. These are dew points, what I'm showing you here in green, that are 60 plus. Where you've got the darker green, those are getting closer to 70. So we got the moisture coming in.
Yeah, I was showing you this earlier because we were talking about, because you need, baseline at the very least, which is very isolated, but you could get, say, maybe a tornado around a 60. That's kind of where you can see that threat, or, the cloud cover low enough to see any sort of tornado threat, especially in central Iowa carrying into the eastern portions of Iowa. Again, this isn't a guarantee, it's still far away, but we're seeing those elevated dew points into the mid 60s, some pushing that 70-degree mark, which is where we could be seeing maybe that stronger potential for that spin up, potential there.
Exactly. And that's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
The dew points, really, with the storm energy we're going to be seeing too, my goodness.
And let's get into that next because, you're used to seeing this map, of course. You know the color scheme. The color scheme is literally called storm energy on fire. And where you see the hottest temperature or the hottest colors, kind of like fire, like a flame, that's where your storm energy is. And you were talking about in Iowa, as we get into Monday afternoon, how that storm energy just kind of maxes out on the scale.
Right around 4 p.m.
Especially right there,
That's that 4 to 5 p.m. time frame.
And that's when the front's going to be coming in. So if we can get, enough of these dynamics and we don't get a warm layer of air aloft like a cap, this thing is going to take off like crazy to our west. And that's why, again, we're probably going to see the higher, if there was a 4 out of 5 to be issued, it's probably going to be right here. Because when you first get storms to develop, they're usually kind of what we call discrete. They're on their own. There's lots of space between them. They're scattered. And then what they do is they all kind of congeal.
Congeal and form that strong straight line.
Exactly. And that's what we think is going to race across here as we get into the late evening, into Monday, into the overnight hours. Could it be a similar situation to Sunday where we have those embedded quick spin-up tornadoes? Absolutely.
100.
That could be a repeat of itself. So that's what we're going to have to watch. But I'll take this into the late night. I think it's going to go until probably 10-ish. And you see, we don't really lose a whole lot.
I was going to say, you still see almost that extreme level there. Just to the west here, the Quad Cities, especially the southwest, out in areas near Burlington and Mount Pleasant. You're still seeing that kind of color combo there at 10 p.m. at night, which is very rare.
Still lots and lots and lots of storm energy to work with. So the storms are not going to lose steam. That's why that 3 out of 5 threat track is so far to the east now, because we're still going to have all of these dynamics in play as we go with that. We can get a first kind of guesstimate, and this is why we tightened up the timing as we got into last night. We have a couple of models that we can look at. One of them is the European, and this particular model actually has a lightning kind of run, if you will, where it's able to kind of try and predict where we're going to see the greatest concentration of lightning strikes. So you can see that the storms are initially going to start taking off as we go into Monday afternoon, into the early Monday evening. And kind of like I said earlier, notice how the lightning display here,
scattered.
It's scattered. You're not seeing like a solid line. So that's where these storms are likely initially going to form later Monday afternoon. And then what happens is you notice
there's the straight line.
They start getting into that line. And, there's questions on how far south that line will go, and it will likely fill in. Again, we're a couple of days out, so we still have some time for the modeling data to catch up on this. But here we are at 7 o'clock, and what we're likely going to see is some kind of a fairly solid line.
I noticed further to the south in Nebraska, in southeast Nebraska, there's that little blip. You'd assume that line kind of fills in to at least a certain extent when it tracks its way towards the Quad Cities.
Exactly.
Even if it's on a scattered kind of single cell basis, which could almost be, in a way, just as damaging.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, especially given all that storm energy and everything else we've got going on. So this is the end of that model right now. I can't take it past any further than 7 o'clock on Monday. But again, it gave us that first kind of preview of what some of the timing of these storms look like. And that's why we've gone ahead and we've pushed our weather impact alert back to Monday evening and into the overnight hours. I want to give you a little bit of a precedent on what has happened before when the Storm Prediction Center has put out this much of a risk, a 3 out of 5 risk so far in advance, as early as yesterday. These are a couple of things that have happened. And one of the times, not the last time, this has happened before, but one of the other times that I remember was April 9th, and this was back in 2015. We had 3 weak tornadoes that was near DeWitt, Clinton, Fulton, and Thompson. We had golf ball size hail with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And this also brought on the deadly EF4 tornado that hit Fairdale outside of DeKalb, Illinois. So that was a very strong, very powerful storm system. That one came in at a different time during the day. So can't really say this is exactly what's going to happen again. But it goes to show you that this is the kind of a risk that the Storm Prediction Center kind of looks at when they issue these kind of higher 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 risks so far in advance.
Yeah.
They're talking about this kind of a strength of a storm system that is capable of doing things like this in the past.
Yeah, and what we like to say, or what people in weather like to say, weather happens again, right?
Yes.
Now, obviously, this exact track, will that happen again? No.
No.
But weather, in a way, repeats itself. Patterns repeat themselves.
Yep.
And when you look at the kind of, I guess, data, right? There's repetition, and again, not a daytime event, but it's kind of a good idea of the severity we could be seeing with something issued this early in advance.
Yep, it just goes to show that, something is out there, something's going to be brewing, and you really, really, really got to keep an eye on that. So we've got a lot to look at when it comes to data this weekend. And I have a feeling I'm going to be glued to my computer screen, especially Sunday morning, just poring over all of the new data coming in and just trying to see how bad of a day we're going to potentially have on Monday. I hope it's not bad.
I hope so.
I hope this thing kind of fizzles out. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but this is definitely something that we're going to have to watch over the weekend. But again, like I said earlier, plenty of time to sort through all of this.
Yes. Do not be worried.
Yeah,
I know it seems like a lot, because it always seems like a lot.
It always does, yeah.
But we're going to walk you through it. We're going to make sure you're prepared, not scared.
That's right.
Just take your time. We'll get that data to you as soon as we get it.
Yeah, then you'll be able to make some good decisions when it comes to what you're going to do on Monday, especially Monday night.
Yes.
We'll see if we got some questions. We're about 18 minutes past the top of the hour. If there's any specifics we can answer. Again, that when it comes to, when are these going to hit my hometown, we can only give you right now this far out kind of a generalized timing. If you come back later this weekend, where we will definitely be doing one of these streams at some point, we'll be able to give you a better idea of when we think this is going to come through.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to fine-tune for sure by Sunday morning. I think that's kind of what we're saying, but that's kind of the lock it in almost type situation. But we do have some questions.
Hey.
You always do. Thank you guys for always sending them in.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you have one and you haven't sent it in yet, look at that number at the bottom of your screen, 309-304-088. It's like so confusing.
It's opposite.
Yes, we were used to having our little confidence monitors here to point it out. Oh my goodness. But Michael just said, thank you for helping us, and you two make watching the weather presentation interesting and fun. That's our goal.
Well, thank you.
That's our goal.
We're always trying to teach you something.
Yes. Seth was wondering, would you please shut the severe storms off? I know Seth a lot. He interacts with Chris a ton too.
Oh,
so,
yes,
Seth, trust me, I know it's been a long week, especially in central Iowa.
We wish we could shut these down.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes. Billy, our good friend Billy, how are you?
Oh, hey, from Clinton.
Yes, our wonderful Clinton spotter. And
we
reporter.
love
and
that.
Guess what he did? He has a report from Clinton.
Oh, hey, what's the what's going on in Clinton?
Just over 0.3 of an inch of rain. So this morning. That's not too bad.
That's what I got about last night at my place with that round of storms that came through. That's
Yeah, I
pretty
guess
good.
I was through this morning. Didn't they have a little cell this morning?
Yeah, you guys had quite a downpour this morning.
Yeah. And then he has a question. Is that how high do the parameters have to be for the SPC to issue a PDS watch?
Oh, like a potentially dangerous situation watch. Yes.
Jinx.
Well, I will say that's probably going to be a good possibility on Monday.
Yes. In some area with this storm, we probably will see that. They usually don't issue that until I think a lot of the times about the day of or before, because they don't want to cause the panic too far out in advance.
Yeah, you'll probably see that come out at some point Monday afternoon, perhaps as early as that. But we think, again, if you're looking at any kind of a PDS watch, especially a PDS tornado watch, you're probably going to see it in that western region where those supercells would first take off. And then it's more of a wind and embedded tornado threat as it moves further east.
Yes, exactly. So
we get that question a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an interesting.
It is.
And it's kind of one of the most, probably the most worrisome situation other than life-threatening.
That too, yes.
So those are the two that kind of get you, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it gets your attention.
Yes, they definitely do. Amy was wondering, do you think this summer is going to be more stormy compared to last year? And to be determined at this point. I mean, there's no, say, telekinetic or global scale influence that we're having this summer. So it's kind of supposed to be your typical summer because we don't have no El Nino, no La Nina this year, just run-of-the-mill atmospheric conditions.
It's neutral.
Very neutral. So we'll see what happens there. Again, that's something that we can develop here with time. Tyler, he always asks a ton of questions too.
Hey,
Tyler, when it comes to all the severe weather threats, which is the highest, and could the threat go up to a level 4 out of 5? And you were kind of talking about that.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little earlier. If we think the Storm Prediction Center was going to do a 4 out of 5 and ramp this up a little bit more, we were probably likely going to see that right here. In the western part of Iowa, because that's where the initial storm development will be. That's where your higher threat for tornadoes is, perhaps those stronger wind gusts. But depending on the evolution, if we can get a line to form and they think the widespread damaging wind threat is big enough, that could be extended a little bit further to the east. So that's what we're kind of waiting on. We're waiting to see, is it going to be the tornado threat that's highest, or is it going to be the wind threat that's highest? I have a feeling for us it's the wind threat versus the tornado threat.
Yeah. And we were talking about it again, the shear. You need that different, almost not completely different directions, but somewhat varying direction of the upper level winds. And as of right now, again, this can change. It's still far away, but the trend is to be once we get later into the evening, those winds align in the upper levels and the lower levels of the atmosphere and kind of on the surface as well.
Yes, and that's one of the many ingredients you got to watch as we go through time. I wish I would have saved that scene. I don't think I saved it. I did not. That showed the wind shear, because I think this one is just for a short-term model. I don't have that for a long-term model yet.
Yeah, I switched it out this morning. That's what I did. But
okay.
Yeah, it kind of, it's looking more like straight line winds later.
It's kind of more of a wind thing.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're watching it. We are watching it.
Yes. And then Chucky was wondering, is it good for storm chasing?
This is one of those times where it's going to be after dark again. Our protocol is the beast does not go out after dark because of that reason. It is very dangerous. I know of experienced chasers. One of them is one of my best friends. Just doesn't like going out in the dark because you can't see anything. And you need lightning to be able to see anything. And that was a huge problem with Sunday night. Those storms had little to no lightning. So if you were out chasing, like some folks were, you couldn't see anything.
No.
There was nothing to be seen because you had nothing lighting the storm up. Now, this is probably going to be a different case because of all this storm energy.
Plenty of it.
Probably going to have a good amount of lightning. But I would discourage, unless you are a very experienced or veteran storm chaser, not to do the night chasing thing. It's very difficult, especially if you're by yourself, which I do not ever encourage, even if it's during the day. You should never be by yourself. It's hard to be driver, radar navigator, and GPS person.
You can't do all three at once.
It is very, very hard to do that.
Probably unsafe, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't recommend that.
No.
Not this go around.
Better safe than sorry. And we'll probably have other chances. We're just entering severe season.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
We are just getting started. Wait until we get into, May, June, July, August. There's plenty of opportunities during the day to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that would be the last question we have for now.
Cool.
So
that's perfect timing. We're all caught up. So I want folks to stay, tuned, pay attention, not only just here on our 8 Plus app, but also our website, WQAD.com. There is an article up there. I'm going to be updating that here shortly with the latest maps and everything else. But at the bottom of that article, the weather impact alert one is our streaming schedule.
Yes.
So when we schedule a stream like this one here, we'll put it at the bottom and you'll be able to see when we're going to have that stream available. So watch that over the weekend. As soon as we figure out when we'll be doing some streaming, we'll put it on there and we'll let you know. And of course, you can also check out the on-air newscast too. We'll let you know there too.
Yes.
Yeah, lots to come. So stick with us. We'll continue to track this each and every day leading up to on a Monday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Again, don't worry about it. We have details to come.
We'll be here.
We're going to get you through it. That's right. Just make sure you're staying up to date on the forecast this weekend, and we'll get you through Monday. Until I see you later this morning for GMQC at 11, have a great weekend, Quad Cities.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 8 Plus app everywhere you stream.